So last day, Sayadaw has been analyzing the phenomena arising and passing away, and their interaction, interrelation, and then how the objects strike to the base sense base, and repulsive consciousness take place. And then seeing, hearing, the moment we see, the moment we hear, and so on. There are those phenomena arise and pass away. So Sayadaw explained these points from both theoretical and practical aspects. Although it cannot be said complete explanation, but Sayadaw hope we understand something about the phenomena. And actually, yogi can be expected learn more by themselves. Then Sayadaw can explain. So as a yogis, we are expected to understand how the psychic element strike in the base senses, and then how the repulsive element consciousness take place. The moment we hear, we see, hear, and smell, so on. So in this case, in this phenomena, or in this seeing, hearing process of mind and body, no atta, no self involved. Only the mental and physical phenomena arising and passing away from moment to moment. So there is no creator who creates this universe or these things. Actually, phenomena arising and passing away according to the laws of cause and effect. So there is only the law of cause and effect, no creator and no one who creates us. So one more thing to explain today is regarding how the thinking objects strike on the base, and how the thinking mental process take place. So Sayadaw today we explain these points. So in the seeing process, the visible objects strike in the eye base, eye sense, and then seeing consciousness, responsive element take place. So this seeing mental process is based on the eye organ, sense organ. So sense organ is the base of the seeing consciousness, seeing mental process. Similarly with the hearing process, when we hear a sound comes and strike on the ear sense as a base, and then hearing consciousness, responsive element take place. So this hearing mental process is based on the ear sense of ear. So sense of ear is based on the hearing consciousness or hearing mental process. So in the same way, when we get a smell or fragrance, the smell strike on the nose sense, and then smelling consciousness, responsive element take place. So this nose is the base of the hearing consciousness or the hearing mental process. And in the same way, when we have a taste, there are 6 types of taste or flavor: the sweet or sour, hot, bitter, salty, and so on. We can experience taste on the base of our tongue. So the taste consciousness or tongue consciousness is based on the tongue. The tongue is the base of the taste consciousness or taste mental process. And then regarding touching, there are several kinds of the objects or touching. There's hardness or softness, heat, warmth, or tension, tightness, vibration, and so on. These are come and strike in our body sense, and then touching consciousness, responsive element take place. So this body sense is the base of the touching consciousness, touching mental process. So regarding the thinking or thought, what is the base of it? Sometimes we are not actually seeing, we are not actually hearing, smelling, but we sometimes fancy, we hear, we see, we hear, we smell. So this type of fantasy is based where? And so regarding this fantasy, there can be the thinking consciousness take place. Maybe sometimes greed, anger, or stupidity, delusion, and sometimes wholesome consciousness take place. So what is their base? What is the base of those mental process regarding thinking or fantasy or planning and mental activities? Where they are based. So now we are going to discuss about this point. So suppose we see someone beautiful or handsome. He or she is beautiful or handsome. So in the beginning, at the moment we see, actually we cannot recognize the beautiful or handsome or ugly or male or female. Just seeing mental process arise and passes away. At that moment, there is no wholesome or unwholesome is regarded. So the seeing the visible object strikes on the base sense, and then the eye, and then the responsive element, seeing consciousness, seeing process take place. But this seeing process is followed by another mental process, and a second mental process through which we can recognize, we can identify the one who is male or female, beautiful or ugly, or attractive or ugly. We identify and recognize through the second or third, the mental process. So if we are not mindful, the mental process, the moment it takes place, and then this type of unpleasant or this type of unwholesome mental process take place, connected with the desire or attachment, anger or hatred. Sometimes we see someone or something agreeable, the one we like or we love, then the attachment, love, follows. Sometimes we see someone or something we don't like, we don't love, then the anger or hatred or aversion follows. So if we observe or if we watch the seeing process, the moment we see, there's no chance for those wholesome mental element. Instead, the bhavana mind, the mindfulness take place. So these wholesome and unwholesome mental elements take place on what base? What is the base of these mental and physical mental process? For example, sometimes we recollect the Buddha's virtue, and this is the wholesome mental process. What is the base of it? Sometimes we think about the present situation, planning, dreaming, and so on, daydreaming. Sometimes we fancy, we hear, we see, and so on. Sometimes we we think about the past memory. Sometimes we are thinking of the future plan, what we are going to do, and so on. And then sometimes we think about the seeing, hearing in the future or next day. Sometimes we fancy as if we are seeing, or we were seeing, or seeing, hearing, and so on. So these mental process take place on what base? What is their base? We're going to discuss about this point today. Just as mentioned, the seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, they have their individual base, sense base. So there is no problem. So it's quite clear to us. But they are in the mental process. When we see or hear, there's the recognizing mental process, recognizing the mental element take place, through which we examine what is or who is. This examining mental consciousness take place after seeing consciousness, and then we determining consciousness. Who is it? Who is this? Who this is? What this is? This determining consciousness take place, and which is followed by the mental element, wholesome or unwholesome. So these mental process, mental elements are connected with the seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and touching. So their base is quite obvious. It's quite well known to us. Their base is called in Pali literature, Pali canon, Pali text is called in Pali base. Then there is a thinking mind. What is the base of the thinking mind? In Pali, the base is mentioned as Vatu. So thinking mind, its base is Vatu. In the Patthana Pali Canon, it's mentioned Vatu as a base of the thinking mind. So this base, as a base, help the thinking conscious thinking mental process. It is mentioned in the Patthana Pali Canon.
အဲ့ဒီထူးခြားတဲ့ယုတ်ဟာဘယ်လိုနာမည်နဲ့ဘယ်လိုနေရာဌာနမျိုးများတည်ရှိတယ်ဆိုတဲ့အယူဆမှာတော့ပါဠိကျမ်းဂန်တဲ့ဆရာများကဟတ္တယဝတ္ထုဆိုတဲ့အမည်နဲ့ပေါ့လေယဉ်ကျေးအတွင်းမှာတည်ရှိတယ်လို့ဒီလိုပဲယူဆကြပါတယ်
So that special Vatu the special base is mentioned as a Hadayavatu. It is in the center of the heart. It's mentioned by the learned teachers.
Yin Jai Atwin Bon, Yin Jai Atwin. Tayo Tadanaro Ma.
So in the chest, inside of the chest, there is the base called Hariyavatu. So it is not the one which is judged by the medical doctors. Not is actually heart. It is just the base, physical base, on which the thinking mind takes place. So what is it? So they see, hearing, etc. They have their own individual base. So thinking mind is based on what? So what is the base of the thinking mind? So thinking mind, under this thinking mind, Lobha, mental process, Dosa, mental process, and they also come under this thinking mind, or the wholesome or unwholesome thinking mind, where they are based on. What is their base? So their base is in literature mentioned as Hariyavatu. This is inside the chest. They explain by the learned teachers. So modern scientists, they take the brain as a base of the thinking mind or the reasoning mind. So sometimes they identify the brain with the thinking mind. So thinking mind or brain itself thinking mind. They identify the brain with the thinking mind. So sometimes they identify the brain as a storage of the knowledge. According to the Western from the Western point of view, so the brain is the base of the thinking mind. So this views must be compared with the views mentioned in the Pali Canon. So we have to go back to our first and foremost consciousness of this life. This is called Patitanti Chaita. It is the first or the foremost of the present life, the mind, the past mind. So this mind is connected with the two lives, past life and present life. So this is called connected mind, in Pali Patisanti Chaita. So the moment that Patisanti Chaita, or normally translated as a rebirth consciousness, that rebirth consciousness is based where? At the moment of this rebirth consciousness, birth consciousness, so that the brain already existed. Otherwise, where does rebirth consciousness is based? Any mind cannot take place, cannot exist without base. So there must be base. What is the base of the first consciousness, rebirth consciousness of our life? So the moment of the rebirth consciousness, is the brain already existed or what? then this rebirth consciousness or this initial mind, or first and foremost mind of our lives, is based where? So seeing, hearing, smelling, these are based on their own respective base, is quite well known to us. So we have to discuss about this, the base or the first and foremost rebirth consciousness on our life. So just as mentioned, the seeing consciousness, etc., they have their own base, sense base. But the thinking mind, where it is based. But anyway, without base, any mind cannot take place. So what is the base or then the thinking mind? It cannot be eye, cannot be ear, cannot be nose or the body. What is the base of the thinking mind or the reasoning mind? In the Pali literature, it is mentioned at the moment of the rebirth consciousness. There are three physical phenomena. They are complex of three physical phenomena exist. This is we may call the fetus or foetus. It's a combination of sperm and ovary. In Pali, we call the kalala. This is a combination of the three elements according to the Pali literature. It's the kaya, the body sense, and bhava, male or female, or sex, and then vatu, is called hariya vatu, hariya base. So these three elements are constituted first and foremost at the moment of the rebirth consciousness. So one of them must be base or the thinking mind or the first consciousness, the rebirth consciousness. So at the moment of the rebirth consciousness or birth consciousness, there is no other sense or like the eye sense or ear sense and so on. At that moment there is no eye or ear or tongue or nose, only the physical sense or bodily sense, and then gender, male or female, and then hariya vatu. So what we call the hariya vatu is a base. Only three mental and three physical elements exist at the moment of the birth consciousness. So these are very subtle and very too subtle to be seen. It cannot be impossible. It's not possible to see them even through the very fine microscope. So very fine and subtle. At that moment, there will not be the brain. So then, that Pandita Bhivamsa, the rebirth consciousness, where it is based. It must be based on the hariya vatu. So it is on the center or the chest. So the birth consciousness, the first and foremost mind or our life, is followed by the bhavanga mental element. The mental element we call bhavanga. It can be this mental element, mental process, can be compared with the sleeping mental process. So the mental process we have the moment we fall asleep. That the Bhavanga mind follow after the Patitani rebirth consciousness. So these mental elements take place for some times. So these mental elements cannot take place without base. Then what is their base? There must be Hariya Vatu, which is regarded in the center or the chest. At the moment of the rebirth consciousness, there will not be the brain at that moment. So after some weeks, brain will take place. So before that particular period, there will not be the brain. So those Bhavanga Sthita, and then the rebirth consciousness, these mental elements cannot take place without base. Then where they are base? What's their base? That must be the what we call Hariya Vatu in the center of the chest. The learned teacher or Pali scholar, they exactly describe the base of the thinking mind or reasoning mind. So it is what they said. It is the heart. In the heart, in which the blood circulation, blood is circulated in the heart. So on that circulation, this thinking mind is based. They describe exactly like this. So our thinking mind and our reasoning mind, their base is the blood, which is circulated in our heart. There are many points to ponder. But the answer can be obtained through the Vipassana Satipatthana practice. So as a yogi who observing or the watching mental and physical phenomena, the moment they take place, they can find this of experience where the thinking mind come from. So they can get answer through their own experience. So they can exactly describe where the thinking mind is based. If the thinking mind or reasoning mind is based on the heart, then how it is transplanted? So heart transplantation is something can be problem to think about the base on for the base of the thinking mind. The heart, which is transplanted, new heart or the thinking mind base on where the transplanted heart or the new heart, where the thinking mind is based is the points to ponder. Maybe next day we continue to discuss.